This is the ultimate and only guide you're going to need as a priest healer in Phase 2 of Season of Discovery, SoD. I'm going to be going over the runes, talents, rotation, pre-biz gear, biz gear, and options for leveling gear, alongside skills and skill books and everything else. Starting off with our stat priority. Now, as a priest healer, we are having mana issues still. They have improved in Phase 2, but I still think there's going to be an issue with it, and therefore I do recommend that you go for MP5 above everything else on your stat priority. Now, there is going to be a good few items with this on anyway in the biz list that we're getting from Nomagon. Intellect and spell power also being very good. Intellect is actually going to get better the higher we go, same with spell power. And I do think it's important that if you are struggling with mana, you can down rank some of your spells at level 40. This is a question I had a lot in Phase 1, and upon testing, it is really worth it to do that to get that overall throughput, rather than just sort of, a bigger heal that ends up taking a lot more mana. So we're then going to take spell power, spirit after that, MP5 being a lot more powerful, and then spell crit at the end. Hopefully that will make sense, but again, I am going to show you all of the best gear and the items you should be looking for. One other, I say small thing, it's not actually a small thing, it's actually quite big, is the skill books. We have increased fortitude, which is the first one, reducing the mana cost of your powered fortitude by 50% and increasing the duration by 50%, which is a huge quality of life increase. This drops off dungeons, dungeon mobs. And then we have Shadow Fiend. Really, this is a big one, guys. This is going to create a shadowy fiend that attacks your target. Caster is going to receive, that's you're the caster, receiving 5% mana whenever it attacks. It lasts 15 seconds. This is phenomenal for our mana issues. I would really, really recommend that you do, if you can, do a lot of your leveling through dungeons so that when you get to level 40, you hopefully already have this rune. I am literally going to be spending the next year of my life in Scarlet Monastery by the looks of it. Going on to the really exciting bit then, which is going to be the talents and the runes, and how we're actually going to put these all together and use them to heal everyone in Nomagon and beyond. Before Nomagon? Before and beyond, etc. So we're going to put 5 points into wand specialization. If we have got any downtime, you can simply just wand away your enemies until there's nothing left of them. On the next one, we are going to put 3 points into powered shield, increasing the damage absorbed by it. This is a really good spell, of course, that we could put on to shield our targets, meaning that it's going to absorb any damage. 2 more points going into improved powered fortitude, increasing the effect of it by 30%. While you may think of this as just a bit of a quality life, party or raid buff, remember it's increasing their health and stamina by actually a huge amount, and therefore survivability is really heavily increased by taking this talent for the entire raid. We're going to put 1 point into silent resolve. It's not that important, reducing our threat. Obviously that is important, but I would like if we could put somewhere else, but we are going to need this to go further down into the talent tree anyway. We're going to put 1 point into inner focus. This is going to reduce the mana cost when activated on a 3-minute cooldown of your next spell by 100%, so completely negating the mana cost, and increases the crit chance by 25%. This is a really good cooldown that we can use when we want to do a big jumbo heal. We're going to put 3 points into meditation, allowing 15% of mana to regen while casting. Fantastic. 5 points into mental agility, reducing the mana cost of your instant spells by 10%. A lot of our spells we're going to be using are instant, and this is phenomenal. 1 point into divine spirit. Holy power infuses the target, increasing their spirit and therefore mana regen by 17 for 30 minutes. This again is phenomenal. You can use this on yourself if you'd like. Going to put 5 points into mental strength, which is going to increase our mana by 10%. And this is the bit where it gets interesting, okay? We're going to put 4 points into force of will, increasing your spell damage by 4%. Remember, damage specifically by 4%. And that's going to open up power infusion, infusing the target with power, increasing their spell damage and healing by 20% for 15 seconds. This is going to give us a big burst healing window, and it's on a 3-minute cooldown and uses 20% of our base mana. This is generally what we're going for. This is going to be the big daddy of this talent tree for priest healing in Phase 2. If, however, you don't want to use power infusion, which you will, but I want to give you guys kind of choices, just in case you don't really, then you're not going to take these 4 points either in force of will. You could put some points into holy specialization up here to increase the crit chance of holy spells, or improved renew, especially because of the runes I'm going to talk about in a minute, or you could put it into spirit tap. I do think as you're leveling, having 5 out of 5 in spirit tap can be really good because you're going to be killing mobs in dungeons. So basically, when leveling, and oh, thanks for the follow. You can, you're going to be killing mobs en masse when you are leveling and in dungeons, and therefore you're going to get a really good, that's on Twitch, by the way, that follow. So, by the way, I will be streaming Season of Discovery Phase 2 on Twitch, so make sure you follow me there, link down below. What a perfect opportunity to put that in. So when you're leveling and doing dungeons, you're going to be killing a lot of mobs en masse. So that means you're going to be getting spirit tap coming up quite a lot, whereas in the raid, where you're mostly focusing on bosses, you're not going to get that benefit. So do take this if you'd like while leveling and doing dungeons. However, in the raid, I don't think spirit tap is going to be very useful. And therefore, if you have got those extra points to use, put them in either Holy Spec or Improve Renew. But what I'm going to be doing and do recommend overall is going down into Power Infusion. Let's get on to the runes. These are interesting on the chest. A lot of people are taking Void Plague, which is going to just do a big dot and helping us do some extra damage to the bosses, etc. You could also take Serapendipity. Healing with Flash Heal reduces the cost of your next lesser heal, greater heal, etc. by 20%. This can get quite mana intensive. We are going to mostly be using Renew, Powered Shield, and Penance, for example, as a lot of our quick heals, and therefore, you know, I think having the reduced cast from a Flash Heal, which we can't spam too much, may not be that effective. Strength of Soul's quite good. Lesser Heal and Flash Heal, etc. reduce the remaining duration of Weaken Soul. Weaken Soul is the debuff you get when you have Powered Shield cast on you. So TLDR, I cast Powered Shield on you and shield you. You then can't be affected by it again for a certain amount of time, and this will reduce the duration of that debuff when you use those spells. Again, how good is it really going to be regarding our mana, etc.? I think it's difficult to say. So you could take either one of these if you're going for healing and mana isn't an issue. When they get Powered Shield, they also gain Rage from taking damage despite the damage being absorbed, and Righteous Fury will trigger from damage absorbed by your Powered Shield as if it were a heal, which is quite interesting. I'm probably going to take Strength of Soul myself, and then if I think I've got a lot of downtime, depending on the situation, I may swap over to Void Plague. But I do think it's good that you have all three. For this instance, let's go with Strength of Soul just for the purpose of clicking something on this guide. So it's a bit more nuanced is what I'm saying. Again, on the legs, it's going to be the same. Don't take Shadow Fiend. Remember, we're going to get this from the skill book anyway. Homunshuli, Breaking Off Splinters, you're going to get 3 little mini-me's that are going to reduce the attack speed, attack power, and armor of any target hit. I think overall, this is fantastic. When you think of us as a healer, it's very easy to think, oh, let's take Prayer of Healing because that does healing. But what you can sometimes easily forget is that actually having something that is reducing their attack speed and attack power means that we don't need to do as much healing because the enemy isn't going to do as much damage. And that is why I do recommend taking Homunshuli. It's not always as straightforward as just heal, 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 you know. It sometimes is a bit more nuanced, like with this. And Homunshuli is a really nice rune, especially when you're leveling, etc., getting down those mobs. The AI in it is really bad, though. So it's quite good on a boss that's stationary. Doing it on lots of mobs in dungeons, they can kind of linger behind and stuff. I think Blizzard really needs to improve the AI of those. If you've used them, you know exactly what I mean. They just have like a wild mind of their own. We're using Penance on the hand. That's it. Penance, penance, penance. Launches a volley of light. It's amazing. Very efficient heal. We love it. It's just fantastic. It's just wowee. Penance is the way to go. On the new runes, on the waist then, we're going to go Empowered Renew. Your Renew now heals 1 extra time immediately when applied and gains a 15% increased benefit from each time it heals from your bonus effects. In addition, your Renew can now be active on a target affected by another priest's Renew. We can use Renew as a heal over time to hot up the target, and the fact that we can now have it with other priest healers is huge, whereas before we couldn't. There is, again, also Renewed Hope, but that's going into Flash Heal, etc. Again, with Weakened Soul, I just don't think it's that good. Empowered Renew is definitely the way to go. And then on the foot, I'm going to say Pain Suppression. This is generally a discipline cooldown that we have that they're bringing into SoD in Phase 2. Instantly reduces all damage taken by a friendly target by 40% and increases the resistance to the spell mechanics by 65%. This is fantastic at reducing damage taken, at being an on-the-spot defensive you can use on anyone in your raid. There is also Spirit of the Redeemer, which you can activate to go into like a spirit healer. You can't move or anything, but your spells are all free. It does require the Spirit of Redemption talent, however, which we aren't speccing into. That is down here in the Holy Tree. And I really just don't think Holy is that great with Lightwell, etc. With the mana costs of all this, I really do think Discipline is the way to go. It really, really is. If you guys would like a specific Holy video, I will make one. Please ask in the comments, and if there's like loads of you asking for it, then sure, I'll just make one and do some theory crafting and simming and see what happens. So do let me know in the comments if you would like that. And yeah, so we're going to go pain suppression, and that is the general build I recommend. Voila! If you guys do have any questions, by the way, regarding UI, add-ons, class, rotation, spells, literally anything at all, whether it's even season discovery, retail, wattle, any class and specialization, I literally devote my life to simming and researching and trying to do these guides as quick as possible for you guys, while also making sure they're really accurate and that I've put a lot of research into them. So I really come into my Discord and ask any question you like. Like I said, I really don't mind. I love helping you guys, and we also do leveling, dungeoning and raiding, etc. together. So there is a lot of other people if you want to play with, both EU and US, that is. You can also go one step further and join the join button below to become a member, or join my Patreon, where you actually get access to my entire UI that you can import, VIP tickets in Discord, where I can help you with simming, log analysis, and I can actually build your report to show you some feedback on your logs and things like that. And I'll help you set up your UI. That's all on a one-to-one basis in a private ticket I can do with you for Patreons and members on YouTube. So I'm very devoted to helping you guys out, and the support is there if you need it. Anyway, let's get on to the gear next. One thing I want to say, this is pre-biz, and I'm going to make some assumptions I'm actually not going to make assumptions. I'm going to show you different options depending on if you have done the raid in BFD and you're literally kitted out in best in slot like I am, because I've been raiding twice a week, or I'm going to show you some profession items and also world drops. I'm not going to go into too much depth of what they are though, because there's so many, but I will give you also the names, etc. And you can see where you get them here. So on the head then, anything of like the owl or of healing on any slot is going to be really useful, and you can get these on the 8H hopefully quite cheap. For example, the royal headband of healing can give up to 42 healing. There's the Holy Shroud, for example. They're generally just going to have Intellect Spirit and healing effects on them. You can get a drop from Alderman and Scarlet Monastery as well. Scarlet Monastery is probably the best one to get for pre-biz, because that's where we're going to be spending a lot of our time dungeoning. That's also where we're going to get the skill books too. Shoulders, again, Inquisitor's Shawl from Scarlet Monastery, or you can make the Crimson Silk ones yourself from tailoring. I do recommend you get tailoring. We're going to go on to professions shortly. On the chest then, it's going to be a few tailoring options like Dreamweave, the Robe of Power. Robe of the Magi is really good, but very expensive on the AH. Again, Regal Armor of the Owl, or there's a black Mage Weave vest from tailoring. Tailoring is going to, honestly, there's so much you can get from tailoring. They have added a lot of new recipes. They've upgraded items from the dungeons. It's been really, really good for us casters. On the neck, again, Scarlet Monastery, the Triune Amulet, or from Razorfen Downs, or if you've been raiding, the Jagged Bone Necklace is going to be really good. Just keep that. Regarding the cloaks, there's a few options here from PvP, etc. If you haven't got any of them, just get the Warmonger's cloak. If you have the Sergeant's cloak, which I recommended from PvP in Phase 1, you basically need to get the Sergeant rank in PvP, and you go to the PvP vendor in Orgrimmar or Stormwind. You can buy the Sergeant's cloak. It has 4 of every stat on. This is still going to be really good up to biz, as in like pre-biz. Again, speaking of PvP on the wrists, these are pretty much biz for a lot of people. These are the Dryads wrist bindings, and they're from Exalted with Warsong Outriders. If you're thinking, oh lord, I ain't doing that, that's the PvP rep for Warsong Gulch, then again, Royal Bands of Healing, etc. Or there's this quest, the Captain's Chest from Stranglethorn Vale, which you're probably going to be in a lot anyway doing PvP. On the hands then, again, go for either some tailoring with Dreamweave dungeon options, or again, search the auction house for healing. Exact same on the waist. However, there is the Highlander's cloth girdle, which is from Honoured with a Arathi Basin. On the legs, same thing. Soul Leech pants, these are quite a high drop rate. I've seen these drop 1 million times on Akame. So if you have been raiding, you probably already have these. Speaking of that, an Akame, the Acolyte's Void Pearl is also still biz and pre-biz in Phase 2. This is again from Akame, and it gives you a quest you hand in at Thunder Bluff, and you choose which one you want. If, for example, you were previously using a DPS one and you now want to go healing, you can trade this in at 75 gold in Booty Bay. Anyway, back onto the legs. Again, healing. Keep whatever rings you had from Phase 1, whether that is the Seal of Rin. If you don't know what that is doing Dead Minds. Of Edwin Van Cleef's body, an unsent letter will drop, and that starts you on a quest line for Alliance only throughout Stormwind, and it's a really, really, really good ring. Seal of Sylvanas you can get on Horde, which isn't as good. Otherwise, just get these PvP rings, including the Blood Covenant Seal from the Stranglethorn Vale Blood Moon event. Every single spec has their own versions of these, and they're all really, really fantastic. On the weapons, again, Scarlet Monastery, Regal Star of Healing. Of course, the Rod of the Ancient Sleepwalker is still very, very much pre-biz from Kelris. It's such a low drop chance. I think I've I don't even know if I've seen it drop. I might have seen it drop once. It's very low. So you will have had to be really lucky to actually get this drop and then roll on it and win it. Unless you're doing a big dirty old GDKP or whatever they're called. And then on the wand, again, pretty self-explanatory options here. Going on to best in slot then, for tailoring, which is an absolute must, especially as we've just gone through the Pre-Bis, that's the one. Neuro-linked Arcano Filament Monocle increases your damage and healing done by 22, gives us some of that fantastic MP5, which is our number one priority. And also when you use it, however, it is on a 10-minute cooldown, it's going to reduce the mana cost of your spells by 50% and also increase your spell power by 50 for 12 seconds, which is chef's kiss, if you ask me. Next one is going to be the Pendant of Homecoming, which I believe is from Nomagon. Increasing healing done by 13, some more MP5. We've got the Synthetic Mantle on the shoulders, increasing healing done. You can just assume it's going to be from Nomagon if I don't say otherwise. Cloak of Invention, again, some MP5 and healing on there. Hyperconductive Shimmer Shirt. This is a set piece on the chest, legs and boots. This is fantastic for us healers. We can enchant this, remember, with 100 mana. Please make sure you do that. Increasing healing done by 29, giving us more MP5, plus 14 spirit, and more MP5 on the set bonus. The Tinker's Wrist Wraps, again, increasing healing by 18 on the bracer. And then we've got the Defibrillating Staff to, boom, back to life in Nomagon, increasing healing done by 35, increasing damage done by arcane spells by 26. Not really for us, but still it's great for healing. And the staff can sometimes shock people back to life, but can't be used in combat. We're going to use our Shilly Mittens on the right-hand side here. We just move this over so you guys can actually see what's going on. Shilly Mittens on the hands, Mechmender Sash on the belt. Again, more MP5. Again, like I've already said, the set pieces from Nomagon on the legs and boots. This is the Hypercharged Gear of Innovation. It's a unique equipped gear. There's a few different ones, and there's 3 different ones you can get, Devastation and blah, blah, blah. We want Innovation as a healer. Gives us Intellect, Spirit, Nature, and Arcane Resistance. Increases healing done, and more MP5. The other one is going to be the Blood Covenant Seal, which I mentioned in the Pre-Bis list. This is from the Blood Moon, Stranglethorn Veil. Acolyte's Void Pearl from BFD, as I previously mentioned, is still Biz this season. There's the Neodyne Pill Bottle, increasing MP5 as well, with a bit more nature resistance on, which is a trinket. And then there's Jaina's Fire Starter with 6 intellect and 3 spirit for your wand. And that is your best in slot gear. Looking then at our consumables, there's a few main ones I want to highlight to you. First one being the Greater Mana Potion. Ta-da! Who'd have guessed it? Secondary is going to be the Lesser Arcane Elixir. Yes, it's for spell damage, but remember I said that we're getting 5 points into wand, and we have those points near the bottom of the talent tree, increasing our damage. When we do have some downtime, remember, we can be wanding, etc. Maybe using Void Plague if you've taken that rune, and therefore this is going to be a really good elixir that we can still use, even as a healer. Sagefish Delight is going to be really good. You can fish this up quite easily. It's great as sagefish with some hot spices, and this is going to give you 6 mana per 5 seconds. Another option is going to be the Spider Sausage. I think I have a slide with... Where is the Slider Sloshlish? Oh my goodness, I've lost my Spider Sausage. We're not on a Feral Druid. Anyway, I know it off by heart, so joke's on you. The Spider Sausage is actually going to be from 2 white spider meat, and you can farm these in the northwest area of Dustwallow Marsh, and they're about level 36 to 38, and it's about a 30 to 40% drop chance. Yes, really, this kind of information literally lives rent-free in my head. I'm like a walking World of Warcraft encyclopedia at this point. It's actually getting ridiculous. But you know what? I love it, because it just means that my videos are improving more and more, and I'm getting more and more knowledgeable as time goes on. So, woohoo for me and woohoo for you. If you're watching this. So yeah, Spider Sausage gives 12 stamina and 12 spirit, or the Sagefish is just pure MP5. It's up to you. Going on to the next slide, then we've got Professions, and I would recommend, especially as you're taking tailoring as your must-have, that you use something like enchanting if you don't have a lot of gold, and I think it's good anyway because of this innovation sigil. You can use this for 30 minutes to increase your healing by 20. However, if you have got tons of money, you could also go for something like an alchemy for the mildly irradiated rejuvenation potion, which is another potion you can use which increases mana and health, and increasing all damage and attack power by 35. However, not amazing for healing. It's sort of like the potion I previously mentioned. I do personally recommend enchanting if you're going min-maxing on the healing front with Biz. And that's it, guys. You now know everything you need to know to play a healer priest in Phase 2 of Season of Discovery. I hope you do well. I am surely excited for it. I am going to be streaming priest healing. If you're watching this video on the day it's released, I'm actually gonna be streaming on my Twitch, DPSing Shadow Priest tonight in BFD, not healing, but still, I am going to be doing a lot of Season of Discovery streaming over on my Twitch. Again, join my Discord, etc. if you need any help, if you want to join the raids, dungeons, leveling, everything. It's a really great community. Good luck in Phase 2, and I hope you find your runes, and I can't wait to see you in Azeroth.